It was a difficult season in the Championship where we failed to secure Premier League promotion. And when a teeny tiny club like us that's already going through a lot of financial issues fails to achieve their goals, there's consequences. We've lost our McDonald's sponsorship, which is probably a good thing for our team because a lot of our players have been caught eating Big Macs in the off-season, but it also does mean that the club has lost out on a key source of revenue. But apart from the financial side of things, there's bigger problems at the club, especially regarding our manager. You see, throughout our entire run in the Championship, we trusted Lenny, the man who was formerly our groundsman. He of course impressed hugely in EFL League 1, helped us get promoted, but in the Championship it did feel like he was out of his depth. In fact, he's not even responsible for any of our tactics. That is solely handled by Sebastian Finch, who is the assistant coach, and that's got me thinking, can we really trust Lenny again? We're no longer a club that's in lower divisions, we're in the freaking Championship, and if we don't hire a serious manager, I feel like things could go horribly wrong. On the contrary though, Lenny has such a fantastic relationship with our players. He's been extremely helpful for a lot of players like Edward Bull, Albie Normand, Sean King up top as well. His man management cannot be doubted. And since we really came close to securing a playoff spot last season, I was still considering maybe giving Lenny a bit more time, but then I got the shock of my life. You guys know about Leicester City, our biggest rivals, owned by Nicholas Hart's parents, coached by our former manager Pablo Gonzalo. During the off-season, they started negotiations with our highest-rated player, Scotty Bullock. Now, when I heard this, I thought there's no chance Bullock leaves. He's a key part of the squad. But wait a flippin' minute, he's actually gone. Scotty Bullock has left the club. Lenny is walking him out as well. Leicester City have paid the release clause of 15 million, and just like that, Scotty Bullock has joined our biggest rivals. He's now giving a press conference with Pablo Gonzalo for Leicester, and apparently the reason he's left is because of that situation with Neil Lane. Remember how Neil Lane gambled with Scotty Bullock's phone and Bullock had to take the fall? He basically got a couple of months ban. That incident still hurt him, even though Neil Lane apologized. But to be honest, Bullock is perfectly in the right to be angry, but I didn't expect him to betray our club. Apparently he believes that the club did him dirty. They should have come clean and let Neil Lane take the fall. But come on, man, Neil would have lost his career. That was the second gambling allegation he had. Nah, bro, seeing Scotty Bullock in a Leicester shirt is hurting me. They've got Medeiros as well, our youth academy talent, Uribe too. Oh man, this has ignited a fire in myself, and I cannot wait for the next Heartless derby. Things are gonna get heated, but we need to finish above them this season and also get promoted. But one thing I've realized, boys, we're gonna need a new manager. Because now with Bullock gone, even the other players are questioning whether Lenny can handle this dressing room. Everybody's considering maybe if it's the right time for them to leave. In fact, the media has now put us one of the favorites to get relegated. Now, the positive thing is that we've got 15 million in the bank. I think we need to be on the hunt for a new manager. I'm really sorry, Lenny, but we're gonna have to probably demote you back to being the groundsman. I'm just hoping he doesn't go on like a villain arc like Pablo Gonzalo. We don't want to create another big rival club that just keeps signing our players. Now it's time for me as the club owner to be on the lookout for a manager, but since we're a Championship club in the second division, we can only sign second division managers. So I'm seeing now in the Championship if there are any interesting managers that we could get, and I do like Frank Lampard. He plays a high pressing style of football, currently managing Coventry City, but I think we can lure him in. And come on guys, Lampard is a legend of the game. He brings an incredible amount of experience. I think we definitely need to put him on our managerial shortlist, but I'm not a fan of anyone else in the Championship. Lampard looks like our only option. Okay, this could be interesting. In the second division of Germany, there's Miroslav Klose. He's the current record holder for the most goals in the World Cup, and compared to Lampard, he plays more of a calm, possession-based style of play. I think I need to put him on the shortlist as well. Honestly, I'm looking through the second division of Spain and I don't see many better options. So right now, it seems like it's between Klose and Frank Lampard, or of course, keeping Lenny. And okay, I'm right now looking at Lampard's CV. It says that he likes to play a 4-2-3-1 formation. Ooh, with a couple of CDMs, that's going to be a bit of a shift, and it will be more compact than whatever we play right now. Also, of course, there's a high-pressing play style he wants to stick to. I think between Frank Lampard or Miroslav Klose, it's got to be Lamps that we pick. You know what? I think we should just have a meeting with him first. That way we can maybe iron out the details.
Mate, I'm not gonna lie. your club is in a mess. Your best player just left and you've got no identity. But I think with my high pressing style and some financial backing, we can get S2GFC to the Premier League.
Now, I liked Frank Lampard's enthusiasm, I'm not gonna lie. But what I didn't like was that it was gonna cost us 5 million to sign Frank. I think even Frank knows that we got a big check for Scotty Bullock. And to be honest, we could just keep Lenny for free, use the extra money on a signing. But you know what? I don't feel a transfer is what we need right now. We need a new tactical system to figure out a way to get to the Premier League and then even compete there. I guess I'm gonna just pay up to Frank. And that is gonna be 5 million gone from our budget. We're down to 10. But yup, we're now making the official announcement, boys. Lenny has been relieved from his duties. He's also been offered his groundsman role back again, which he said he wants a month to think about whether he'll accept it or not, which is fair, I guess. Meanwhile, Frank Lampard wants to keep Sebastian Finch as his assistant coach. I guess that would be a great way for him to get to know the team because, of course, you guys know Finch. He was our captain throughout our time in League 2 and League 1. And yup, boys, he is now being unveiled. Frank Lampard is the new manager of S2GFC. It's day 1 for Frank Lampard at S2GFC and he's already at the training ground with the boys. And it looks like he's going to be working on this 4-2-3-1 formation. And it does look like he's got the high pressing tactics on. The lineup looks super different that he's trying to work with as well. A lot of players are going to find it really difficult to adjust, especially Nicholas Hart, who's going to be pushed further deeper. Normand as well. But hey, that's Frank Lampard's job. He's trying to build a change, build a system that can help us not only in the Championship, but also in the Premier League. Now, soon I'm going to have a meeting with Frank Lampard about our plans for the season. Before that, though, as the club owner, I think I've got to sort out the financial situation of the club. Because of Bullock's sale, we are going to be starting with a budget of 10 million, but we still can get a lot more with, of course, the sponsors. Now, I was expecting Puma to pull out, considering we failed to get promotion, but they're willing to back us, but their terms are a bit tricky. They're willing to offer us 8 million up front, which is solid. That would mean we'd have a really large chunk of money to work with. But also, this comes at a cost. They're willing to back us, but if by the 1st of January we're not in a playoff spot, they'll charge us a 4 million penalty, which I guess is fair. We've hired Frank Lampard. We're better than last season. We should be aiming, in fact, for automatic promotion. But also, guys, it doesn't end there. They've got another clause that if we entirely fail promotion, they'll want another 4 million back. It does kind of feel like Puma are just protecting themselves to get back their money. But you know what? Promotion is anyway our goal this season. I'm willing to take these chances, signing the contract with Puma, lock it in, and just like that, we're up to 18 million. But of course, we also need a shirt sponsor, and with McDonald's pulling out, it was kind of tricky. Besides that, I just couldn't get any brand to sponsor us, primarily the reason being that we've lost Bullock. He was one of the faces of this team, and no brand kind of wants to take the risk of sponsoring a Bullock-less S2GFC. At this point, I was kind of discussing with Sebastian Finch what we could do for the sponsorship. Maybe we just start the season without a sponsor. But then suddenly Albie Norman chimed in. Normand & Co Bakery would love to become S2GFC sponsor. I was shocked when Albie said that, because the last time I remember, this was a teeny tiny bakery in Paris. But looks like Albie has scaled this up to being one of the biggest bakeries in Paris to expand elsewhere. I don't know how our captain does it, but the fact that he's also running a successful bakery while being a professional footballer, and now he wants to come in and help the club. Now, he's not giving us crazy money, but 4 million is a lot more than nothing. And come on, man, Normand & Bakery is a brand now created by one of our own, our club captain. It just makes sense to have them as our sponsor. And just like that, our budget goes up to 22 million. Looks like our biggest budget yet. And gotta say, we owe a lot to our captain for this. That 4 million is probably not going to result in any money for Normand & Bakery, but it's going to be huge for the club, and it shows the commitment of Albie. And oh man, here are our kits for the season with Normand's Bakery on the shirt. It looks kind of cool. I love the logo with the croissant, and honestly, our home kit looks really nice, I've got to say. But you know what? I'm a big fan of this goalkeeper kit. It's so different. And for our away kit, we've gone for a different color scheme. And is that an actual croissant on the kit? That is hilarious, bro. And honestly, I do like the pink, because I feel like last season we were having a lot of kit clashes. This is a banger kit as well, though. I'm hoping in these kits we're going to secure promotion to the Premier League. Make sure to rate our kits for the season down in the comments out of 10. I'm going to give these a solid 9.5, particularly because we've got Normand & Bakery as the sponsor. But yeah, if you guys think that this could be the season we get to the Premier League, I need y'all to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, because oh man, am I so excited for a brand new season. Okay guys, we're now nearing the start of the championship season, and we've got to start planning for transfers. And that's why I've now got a meeting with Frank Lampard, and I was pretty sure he was going to ask for a replacement for Bullock, because right now, apart from Neil Lane, we don't really have a designated right winger. But at a 70 overall, I don't think he's the man for the job. We're gonna need an improvement. But surprisingly, Frank Lampard does not want to talk about transfers just yet. He wants to kick off the season first and assess the squad before making a call. And you know what? It kind of makes sense because we are going to be trying out a completely different tactic. Maybe Frank wants to see what kind of players are needed to suit this system. So he wants a couple of games to figure out how our players play. And so looks like we're gearing up for the start of the season against Derby County. Also, before the new season begins, we got to reward our best players from last season. Goal of the season was actually an interesting one. There were bangers from a lot of players. There was one particular goal where Sean King showed a brilliant amount of skill. Lovely driven finish as well. But then there was Gallardo's beauty against one of our big rivals. But I can't lie, boys. Charlie Patino's debut goal. That was something special. I'm giving goal of the season, or you could call it the moment of the season, to him. Now, he's actually got a couple of playstyles with incisive pass and slide tackle. We can give him a playstyle plus now. Now, I think Frank Lampard's going to be really happy about this because I've given Patino intercept plus. That way, he should be able to play the CDM role really well, which is kind of what Frank Lampard needs. But also, moving on now to player of the season. And I think there's only one nominee, crystal clear. It was the king himself. And to be honest, at one point, I thought he could end up leaving the club. We had a big contract dispute with him, but I'm glad we sorted out because his numbers were insane. Won the championship golden boot and hence is your player of the season. And you know what? I want Sean King to have a bit of extra pace up top. The rocket ship playstyle could be key. And there he is, boys. Super Frank, ready to make his debut. And by the way, we haven't really heard back from our former manager, Lenny. He was supposed to tune in back as the groundsman. I guess he'll let us know soon what's his plan. I'm really hoping he joins back at the club because, of course, he's a big part of the team. But right now, the new system with Frank Lampard is getting caught up here and we almost conceded. Iker Alvarez, good save. By the way, Alvarez's spot is in contention because remember last season, he made a lot of mistakes. We were considering replacing him, but we'll find out if that's what Frank Lampard wants. By the way, if you noticed, Avila, he is starting on this right side. We've compared him to Lamine Yamal before. And maybe that is what Frank Lampard sees in him as a brilliant touch. And here goes the future Lamine Yamal on the charge, looking to bring it inside, going for goal and forcing a big save from the keeper. I have a feeling that is exactly why Frank Lampard wanted to take some time rather than rushing into bringing in a winger. Maybe he sees something in Ignacio Avila that a lot of us don't see yet. Oh, and we have been opened up here. Iker Alvarez didn't have to make the save. We got super lucky. I really don't want to be losing our first game in the championship, man. This season, we have to get promoted. And okay, here's Ignacio Avila, who's looked really smart. And that is a bit of Lamine Yamal play there. Lovely way to send Capaccio through. Who's going to try and bring it inside? No. Oh, and now we have been opened up here. Completely open. Oh, Park Ji-soo saved the day. One thing I'm noticing is that a lot of our players are super motivated for this game. I guess because they are trying to impress Frank Lampard. Everybody wants that starting position. As Edward Bull has gone through. Bull finds a spot. How is that saved by the keeper? Now, Frank Lampard used to play for a Chelsea team that was really good with set pieces. Is he going to work on something here? Looks like a decent one. Will Fish, how did he not score? Oh, we've just been caught lacking there. Good save, Iker Alvarez. In this system, I feel like Nicholas Hart has kind of been nullified, but there he's made a really good run. Finally, he's got space to play like a proper left winger. Can Nicholas get the job done, though, is the question. Why didn't he try and finesse it? Frank looks super furious on the bench too. Okay, looks like it's a couple of changes here. Nicholas Hart is coming off for Neil Lane. Very interesting. Gallardo's coming on for Bull. Looks like Frank does not shy from making a bit of controversial substitutions. Okay, just don't concede, man. No, where's our defense? And come on. This is not how I wanted Frank Lampard to start off his S2GFC stint. Okay, but we have broken through here with Mpakio. Usually his delivery is bad and oh my days, horrible. Albie Norman playing in the CDM role, looking for Patino here. Who spots out wide for Ignacio Avila. And Mpakio making a good run. This time, can he get the ball in for King? I can't believe his passing, bro. This time, I think Avila is going to take the ball inwards and see what he can do from here. Looking for Albie Norman. Inside for King. Is he onside? I don't think so. Full time, and it's a disappointing debut for Frank Lampard. We're aiming for automatic promotion this season. And this is a big blow. But you know what? As the club owner, I got to be patient. No need to pile on the pressure for Frank. It's a new job for him. It's a new project. It's going to take a bit of time. After the match, Frank Lampard spoke to the press.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. These players were mostly winging it without proper training. That changes now.
And you know what, guys? Since the team is working on a completely different system, we're just gonna have to give Lampard some time to just get to know the squad. And of course, we do still have 22 million to work with. We're now kicking off our Carabao Cup campaign, round 1 against Stevenage. I think this could be a great game for, of course, Lampard to rotate the squad. And hey, against a team that's in a lower division than us, it should be possible to get a win. And of course, it could be good data for Frank Lampard to, try and figure out this squad. Also, this game, Bobby Malangu is back into the team, our South African prodigy. He has not really had the best of starts for his S2GFC career, but we know that he's got a lot of talent. As he looks for Gallardo, who's broken through but got pushed off. Gallardo again, looking for Malangu, and he tries to link up with Gallardo, who was brilliant. And there goes Gallardo. How has he put that wide? Oh, we finally opened up some space for Nicholas, and he gets the first goal of the season. Okay, this is Stevenage, boys. They're a division below us, so it's nothing to get really that excited off. But it's good to see this new system working for Nicholas, because he's the one playing a bit out of position. Remember, he started off as a striker. Then we moved him to the left, and now as a left midfielder, he's got more defensive responsibilities as well. Gallardo, oh, lovely ball for Malangu. Could this be his moment? Lovely finish from the South African. Bobang Malangu getting the second goal of our season. By the way, his nickname is Bobby, so occasionally I might just call him that. That's what his homies in South Africa call him.
Stop the cap.
He's one of the most interesting players in this team, especially if you look at his profile. Apparently in training, he's the one that cannot stop doing tricks. Neil Lane, by the way, on the right, hasn't really done much. Maybe his morale is still down after he feels he's the reason Bullock is gone. Right now, a lovely ball for Nicholas Hart, who controls that well. Oh, what a finish! I don't know how Nicholas Hart found that gap, but is that an early contender for goal of the season? Because Nicholas Hart on the volley, chesting it down and bang! Now, this is more like what I was expecting from a Frank Lampard team. 4-0 against Stevenage. But we need to be seeing this in the championship. Now, after this game, I had a meeting with Frank. He's, of course, now had a couple of games to assess our squad. And I expected him to tell me that we need a new right winger. And actually, I had a few players already on my mind that we could sign. But turns out, no. Frank Lampard is looking for a new CDM for this team. And he's got a particular profile of player he wants. A CDM that's physically strong, semi-decent on the ball as well, but can basically act as like a destroyer. So you could say players like Casemiro and Golo Conte, but that's the profile Frank Lampard wants. Ooh, and also this one's harsh, but he wants me to get rid of Wes Banks. He did not like how he trains for the team, and he believes he's not good enough for S2GFC. I feel bad that we're trying to get rid of Wes Banks, but to be honest, boys, this is what a serious manager would do. Wes Banks was good for us when we were in EFL League 1 or in, of course, League 2, but now that we're in the Championship, dreaming of getting to the Premier League, we've got to be making serious decisions, and that's why we've brought in Frank. Okay, now I'm looking through CDMs in the Championship to maybe find the kind of player Frank Lampard would really like. Now, this would genuinely be a very interesting signing. Ethan Ampadu of Leeds United. Normally, we wouldn't be able to sign him because he's a Premier League player, but because Frank Lampard has got that prestige from being a Chelsea legend, Ampadu being a former Chelsea player, there is a way we could make this deal happen. And Ampadu, with the stats he's got, the bruiser playstyle, jockey as well, press-proven, good long ball passing, he's exactly what Frank Lampard wants. It all kind of depends though if we can get a deal here. I'm going to start with 14.5 million. Okay, they've countered with 19.4, but I think there is a deal that can be made here. Yes, we are kind of going all in on a CDM, but so far that's what Frank wants. And he's moving to a 4-2-3-1 system where CDM is a key position, and bringing in an 80 overall player is completely backing Frank. That way he's not going to have any excuses. And okay, with some clever negotiating, we've brought it down to 17.4. Could we maybe settle at 16? That should leave me with a decent budget for other stuff. Okay, 16.7. I'm going to still be a bit cheeky. 16.3, and looks like we do have a deal. I never really thought we'd be signing a Premier League level player to our team. But that's the pull Frank Lampard has. He's a Champions League winner, a Premier League winner, one of the biggest legends in Premier League history, and that kind of pull matters to attract talent. This way, though, one brutal thing that'll happen is that Albi Norman drops down to the bench, and I guess Ampadu and Patino are going to be our two starters. I guess for the armband, we've got to now give it to someone like Jisoo, who I feel like is a bit of a leader, but not gonna lie, boys, having our first 80 rated player, I feel like that's a massive upgrade, and we can still do a bit more. 3.3 million in the bank. We might need some player sales to figure it out. And upon asking Frank Lampard what's his future plans, which else positions we need to focus on, he said he once again wants a few more games to just see how the team plays, see how Ampadu integrates. By the way, guys, in the off-season, Ignacio Avila was spotted training with Lamine Yamal on the beach. I don't know how on earth they met up. Maybe it was like a fan meetup where Avila somehow just found Lamine. But just by being in the presence of a great talent like Lamine Yamal, Avila has gained like 4 overalls. He's up to a 68 rating. And that kind of explains why Lampard wants to continue just testing out Avila down the right. And maybe if that's a success, he won't really demand another right winger. For now, it looks like Frank wants to continue to analyze the squad. Lampard in this game is going to make his debut. Okay, we have been put on the back burner here as we're forced to track back. Kwashi does really well. And Jisoo has now got the armband, taking more responsibility. Remember, we're yet to win a game in the championship this season. That's why I want a result here. Edward Ball is on the charge. How did he lose the ball so easily? But Ampadu winning that back really well. Now looking for a ball for Nicholas Hart. Trying to find some space. Oh, he's messed up. Edward Ball looking to put this one back for Sean King. How? That was the perfect cross from Edward Ball. Sean King normally scores these tap-ins for fun. Ball looking for Sean King, who's trying to find some space to maybe go for goal here. Still Sean, unleashing the shot, saved by the keeper. Gotta say, Frank Lampard is yet to see a goal be scored in the championship. I'm really hoping that can change. Ampadu with the set-piece delivery, not good. Okay, but maybe Patino can put in a good delivery. It's decent. Sean King tried to attack it. We still might have the ball. It falls for Kabakio, who couldn't do much. Here's Ampadu finding space, but shot gets blocked. We still have it, though. He's in the box right now, looking for Sean King. We just can't seem to break through Hull. But you know what? A lot of positives in that first half. We really were attacking, and Ampadu has made our defense so rock solid. It's just that we need to figure out a way to get that goal, and then things will be a lot smoother. Although I don't think number 7 is that good for Ampadu. We might need to reshuffle the kit numbers. Wanasi spacer for Ignacio Avila. He's been training with Lamine Yamal briefly, and can he show what he's all about here? Still Avila finding some space, waiting for the run from Nicholas Hart. Can he finish? Of course he can. Avila showed so much composure, waiting for that pass. Nicholas does the rest. And now Sean King, can we see him get a goal this season? Not yet. Our player of the season is yet to hit the ground running. Oh, and I'm not a fan of this. Iker Alvarez made the save, and it was enough to deflect it wide. Just 7 minutes left, boys. We're going to have to grind this game out. This is where Frank Lampard's formation can come clutch, as we had to really stop that. Oh my days, we got so lucky. Not this way, boys. Not in the 9th yet. Patino doing the job. I'm so glad we gave him the intercept plus playstyle. That might have saved us the 3 points here. And finally, Frank Lampard's S2GFC gets their first win in the championship. I'm sure he learned a lot from this game, but so far he hasn't really told me what his plan really is. With just 4 million, if he really wants an improvement, it's kind of obvious that somebody will need to be sold. And by the looks of the performances so far, maybe he'd want a new goalkeeper, and then Iker Alvarez could be sold. Maybe a replacement for Will Fish at the back, although I wouldn't like to see Fish leave because he's good. Hey, even players like Nicholas Hart might not be safe. Sean King especially hasn't really shined. No meeting yet with Frank Lampard about what's next, but we're gonna find out more as we face Sheffield United now. I want to get another win in the championship, keep the ball rolling. For this game, Albie Normand is back in the team. This season, he's got proper competition. I kind of feel bad that he's no longer a guaranteed starter, especially since we've made him one of our sponsors. But right now, Nicholas Hart doing really well. He's having a solid start to the season, but couldn't score here. He's got a big point to prove, man, because if you remember last season, massive game against his parents' club, Leicester. He couldn't play because of an injury, and we, of course, didn't end up getting promoted. This season really feels big for Nicholas Hart to prove a point, getting to the Premier League. Right now, though, Sean King trying to win the header can't. Oh, and look at this counter-attack as we've got the Argentinian Gallardo looking for space. Ignacio Avila, the man from Spain, the next Lamine Yamal, finishes calmly. Does the calmer celebration as well. He's got a bit of personality. I can genuinely now see why Frank Lampard wants to trust Avila. It's a big decision he's making, but I don't see him wanting a new right winger. Kind of crazy how with an academy player we've replaced a player so important like Bullock. Honestly, I can see why Avila is this good, man. His link-up play is awesome with all the teammates. Nicholas Hart driving from deep. He sees that run being made by Gallardo. Can he complete it? Oh, he can. Oh, the defender finally got a leg. You know what? One thing I've noticed with Frank Lampard, defensively, we've been absolutely on point. Apart from that first championship game, we're yet to concede a goal. One thing, though, is that we're not scoring as freely as we used to. But maybe that's a compromise that Frank Lampard has thought about. Because there's a saying that a good attack wins you games, but a good good defense can win you championships. And I feel like Lampard believes in that kind of a philosophy, saying that though we have been caught out here at Iker Alvarez. Well, all that hype we gave to Frank Lampard completely wasted. One thing I am not liking about the system is how isolated Sean King feels. He's not getting into those positions he used to get last season. It's a dangerous cross coming in. Will fished it really well, although chance and Iker Alvarez, big save. And now we're trying to hit them with a counter-attack here with Avila. Lot of pace here. He looks for the ball. Brilliant ball for Gallardo. Can we get it back in for Sean King? We can't. There's no service for Sean King right now. And we drop points against Sheffield United. It's looking like a rough start for Frank Lampard's S2GFC in the championship, boys. Did we make a mistake by letting Lenny go? I mean, it's too early to say. It's only been 3 games. Also, we've just received a message from Lenny. In fact, it's a resignation. He does not want the role of being the S2GFC groundsman. In fact, he wants to go on a football world tour, going to different countries to experience football and also acquire his coaching badges. You know what? I can't complain. Lenny wants to get better, and maybe by doing this at some point in the future, he could manage a big club, or maybe even return to S2GFC as a tactical genius. You know what? We're gonna let Lenny leave happily. Let him fulfill his dream. One day I do feel like he'll return as a fantastic coach. Maybe bald, because he might just end up becoming the next Pep Guardiola, but I'll be waiting. Meanwhile, I've now got a meeting with Frank Lampard.
I want him gone, Mr. S2G. Sell him now.